All right. So Psalm 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Okay. So here's the deal. You're watching this video because hopefully you're curious or you love somebody who's stuck waiting on something that he can't hurry, can't bargain for, and can fix with a good attitude and even a green smoothie. And that somebody is me. So hi, how you doing? That's why I'm making this video, and hopefully it piques your interest. And instead of letting the days leak out of the calendar one identical drip at a time, and for families and friends, instead of spent worrying, and me spent waiting, I'm going to do something. I'm going to try to do something with them, and this is the case of making a video. So I have the camera, I have a recliner, and I'm just a human with a point to make and time on my hands. So let's go. So the update. Okay. First of all, where am I? I'm in the hospital, um, and I'm making a video instead of a post. So let me explain that. So I'm still here, 6 weeks deep in this hospital, and that's long enough that I know the nurses by name. Even some job rotations. Long enough that I can probably rank certain and have a defensible opinion about the breakfast rotation. And I'm long enough that some gift shop items that I've seen come and go have started looking at me funny. So the facts, plainly, what are they? What have I been talking about? My heart is failing, not poetically, but medically. Okay, I'm on the transplant list, which means that somewhere out there, hopefully, a phone is going to ring, a new heart is going to show up, and my whole life is going to change between lunch and dinner, or dinner and breakfast. Until then, I wait. So that's the job now. I'm a professional waiter, but I don't get any tips. So now, here's where you normally get a post from me, on Facebook or some other social media site. And the one, the post that would be, hey, everyone, doing okay, hanging in there. Thanks for the prayers. 4 sentences, 4 exclamation points, 0 actual information. You read it, you squint at it, you think, is he okay? Or is he just good at punctuation? Which really I'm not. But because what I've learned, and what I've seen, and you probably know this, okay? A text message is a magic trick. It's the smile you draw on with one hand while the other hand hides everything else. So why not just put away that trick? No more typing "I'm fine" into a glowing rectangle and making you take my word for it. Instead, look, here I am. Same face, a little more hospital fluorescent lighting than you remember. Still talking, still picking fights with the high blood pressure cuff that I get on every day, and pretty much still losing that one. A post tells you how I'm doing, but a video and audio lets you check my work by providing the evidence. So why the video? Some of you might think, why not just keep tapping out updates like a civilized adult and spare everybody this production value? It takes a little bit of production, but it's still quite easy to manufacture these. Now, and the reason why is because I've stopped trusting the written update, and it doesn't really portray the essence of what I want to tell you. So that's why I'm going through these videos. Here's the thing nobody admits about a status post. It's a costume, and it's the easiest costume in the world to sew. Anybody can type, "Hey, living my best life," from inside, okay? They can type that from inside the worst Tuesday of the year. So words on the screen, pretty much are a closed casket. They hide the tired eyes, the real color of a face, whether the smile got all the way up to the eyes or quit halfway or gave a fake smile overall. You read it, you fill in the blanks yourself, and fear is a fast writer. Fear finishes the sentences before hope even finds a pen. So writing a text or writing a post doesn't really, uh, you know, iterate or even qualify as good evidence to understand how somebody is doing. So video, however, doesn't let me hide. And that's the entire point. That's the feature, not the bug. You get the tone of voice, as you can see here. I'm a little bit tired too, because as I started this video, just like kind of a little bit exhausted, had a rough night, slept a couple of times here and there for good stretches, but woke up, constantly. But overall, so you're getting the tone of voice, you're getting actual image, you get the color in my cheeks or the lack of it. You get to watch whether I'm laughing for real or just performing, hey, fine for the lens. I'm a little bit tired, I'll admit. And you can start getting to know me well enough to tell the difference. So I'd rather hand you the evidence than ask you to take my word for it. Okay? So, and channeling, my Fight Club, inspiration or something. You're not your Facebook post. You're not 3 exclamation points. You're not a brave little caption under a worried little thumbnail, and neither am I. So, I'd rather you hear my voice every morning than wonder how I'm doing. And in reality, one thing, a post tells you how I'm doing, a video lets you check my work, like I mentioned before. So, let me set the table for you, so you know what is coming up, as I do this. No fine print, no surprise charges. Okay. So I'm gonna try to make these videos, quick little videos aside from certain updates. They'll be short, 5 minutes in the morning. Sometimes maybe call it mornings and wait as a series. Sometimes it'll be 10 minutes if I get going. Kind of I think I'm going on that right now. So try to make them in the morning because morning is the only really it's the only honest hour of the day. Before the news, before the meds wear in, before the world starts uh, spending on things, on me and the energy it takes to go throughout the day. And they're going to be true, which is a higher bar than it sounds, and which is a higher bar than just putting words in a rectangle box. Some mornings, I'll teach you something. Why? Well, I've learned, frankly, an unreasonable amount about the human heart. The literal 4-chambered, fist-sized one in your chest right now. Okay, and I've learned enough to understand it, to see what's going on because mine's failing. So I know I need a new one. So I've been diving into some research and figuring out what I'm going through, what it is, and it's quite a great information. So sometimes I'll educate you, and just to pass it along. Some mornings, I'll just try to make you laugh, come up with some dad jokes because the hospital life is a comedy. Okay, with terrible craft services, you know, and I'm not going to refuse to pretend otherwise. And some mornings will just be a guy telling you about his Tuesday. Might seem dull, but hey, it's going to be honest, and that counts too. That's most of life, actually. The Tuesdays, the mundane. So again, this series, hopefully, if you want to give it a title, be mornings and the wait, because that is exactly and unglamorously what it is. The mornings, the wait, and the two of them, handcuffed together, you know, are worth documenting honestly. The whole thing, no matter where it goes. So hopefully you can come along for this ride, and not just for the scary parts or the interesting parts, but the whole process. Uh, Hopefully you don't only show up when you're worried. That's still, understandable. Hopefully you can view this and because you actually want to know how it's going to end, how it's going to go, and so do I. So this is pretty much going to be information and updates on what's going on with me. So I'll close this first one with the best reason I've got. If I'm asking you to trust me every morning, I should start by handing you the thing that's keeping me steady underneath all the rest of it. 5 in the morning in the hospital, you know, has a hush to it that the daytime never gets. The hallways goes quiet, the machines hum along, keeping their steady time, and me lying there in half light with my own heartbeat for company. And instead of fear, and if fear creeps in, try to be more in a sense of shifting it to gratitude. So, because instead of fear, what showed up was something I didn't expect. And usually that's going to be gratitude. Let me pause there for a bit. Okay, so gratitude, like I mentioned, you know, instead of fear, I have gratitude, plain, stubborn gratitude, because I'm still here and I appreciate every day. The beats still coming, okay, and somewhere out there, a new one is already on its way to me, and it's through His power. Okay. So here's why the camera is really on, and I don't want to waste this. I don't want to make something out of the waiting. I mean, I want to make something out of the waiting instead of just surviving it. And I want to let you see it, all of you, watching a man get stronger one ordinary morning at a time. And it's a struggle. Okay. Getting stronger is not easy. Getting stronger is actually going through it and facing everything that I'm going through to struggle through it. And once I get to the other side, I'm developing strength. So part of this really is selfish, and I'll happily sign my name to it. I want to record. Not only gives me something to do, but to have my voice, my words, the truth told plainly, you know, and kept somewhere I can hand to the people I love, family and friends. And it's proof that even in the hardest stretch, we showed up. We laughed, hopefully. We kept the faith indefinitely, so that years from now you can come back here and find me, or we can all come back here and find this. I'm in this chair, I'm talking to you, refusing to let the waiting have the last word. That's really the whole project. That's why the little red light is on this camera. And again, quote scripture, or to quote, a lot of things that deal with managing life. This is the day the Lord has made, and I intend to be glad in it, and really to be caught doing something worthy of it. So that's me today. Honest, a little bit tired, but still in the fight. So thanks for taking me as I am this morning instead of how I wish I looked. So go easy on yourselves out there too. Have a good day. You don't have to be at 100% to be worth showing up. So you guys need to get your rest as well as for me as well. So I'm gonna do the same, and if tomorrow goes the way I'm hoping and I actually get some sleep and I get interrupted with, blood draws and x-rays, I'll see you with the lights back on, with the hospital fluorescent lights back on, and Godspeed.